some interesting things as I was digging into this a little bit. You might notice that the queen, Joyce, I see your question there. I will definitely get to your question in a little bit. I'll get to all the questions at the end for sure. So yeah, as far as the queen goes, the crest, the British crest has a red dragon on it. Okay, now that in itself is a little strange. When we consider the red dragon from Revelation, they have a red dragon on their crest, right? Let's show you this a little bit bigger so you can see that. That's part of the British crest is a red dragon. They also have a dog. Sometimes they have a lion. Well, there's a lion on top there. Sometimes they have a lion on the side. So something to consider there. Brian, I see your question. It's bright orange, so I will get to it. So yes, good job highlighting it though, guys. Appreciate that. I will see those questions very easily later when I go back to answer all those. So the dragon, okay, the red dragon is part of this, okay. Well, what is the significance of this red dragon? Well, again, we could say, well, okay, who was it? George? Was it George, the guy who slayed the dragon back in the, King George? So it could be, a lineage from that who supposedly slayed the dragon. So it may not have any biblical ties. Okay, that's possible. But let's keep digging. Don't go so easy. That's what happens sometimes. We don't dig enough and we don't find out what's really going on here. Well, what's interesting is when Chucko married Diana, he was really unhappy that they didn't have a red dragon on the wedding cake. And you're like, okay, that's interesting. Red dragon. What's a red dragon on his wedding cake? The baker recalls creating the wedding cake for the Prince and Princess of Wales before the two married at St. Paul's Cathedral in London. Says he detailed the experience. I'll never forget it. She was beautiful. She was very pleasant, very polite. We had a few little chats. She had a pink chiffon blouse on and a brown skirt. Okay, now you're remembering what she's wearing. She was slim, tall, and she had flat shoes on. I will always remember that. Okay. Well, I guess he paid attention to details. He's a decorator, so maybe he's going to remember these things. But let's keep going. But it says, then he was given the honor of making their wedding cake. Let's go down a little further. I found it quite hard because there was nothing much known about Diana, so I ended up being more of a naval type of cake, all of which I could do was the Spencer crest. However, the baker had experience in creating other naval cakes, but the wedding cake, which took over 8 hours to complete, included symbols representing Charles' military roles, the emblems of Prince Wales, etc. I got them all in a blueprint. I took the blueprints up to Buckingham Palace. I met Princess Di, etc., etc. Okay, so there's the cake. There's the cake. There's all the little emblems that are on the cake there. Okay, got that. And she said to me, I want a wedding cake, not a monument. So she was quite happy. Looks kind of like a monument, actually. But let's see. Upon return to the Royal Academy, received a phone call informing him that Chucky wasn't happy. We hadn't put on the red dragon. That was the only change in the whole cake. So he baked a rich fruit cake for the royal couple. It's the wedding of the century. It's the cake of the century. So basically, this dude here was not happy that there was no red dragon on his cake. That was very important to him, this red dragon. Now, again, a couple ways to, we might quickly explain that away and say, well, it's on their crest. Well, St. George. And also, you'd say, well, he was the quote-unquote Prince of Wales, and there's a red dragon associated with Wales. So you could just kind of say, well, okay, I guess that's all there is to it then, right? Or is it? Let's keep going. The proud ancient banner of the Welsh is the red dragon. Consists of a red dragon. It's an integral part of the United Kingdom. Wales is not represented on the national flag. As with ancient symbol, the appearance of the dragon has been adopted and changed over the years, hence several different variations exist. The current flag was officially adopted in 1959. It's based on an old royal badge used by British kings and queens since Tudor times. The red dragon itself has been associated with Wales for centuries, and as such, the flag is claimed to be the oldest national flag in use. But why a dragon? The answer to that particular question is lost in history and myth. Lost in history and myth. Okay. We don't know. We don't know why it's a red dragon. One legend recalls Romano-British soldiers carrying the red dragon, or Draco, keep that in mind, to Rome on their banners in the 4th century, but it could be even older than that. You mean like as old as the Bible, perhaps? It's considered that the Welsh kings of Aberfraw first adopted the dragon in the early 5th century in order to symbolize their power and authority after the Romans withdrew from Britain later around the 7th century. So, we have a lot of these legends of dragons and King George, George and the Dragon and all that. I remember reading that when I was a kid and so forth. But those have to come from somewhere too, right? This dragon is in the Bible, okay? The red dragon is in the Bible, guys. And it's red, specifically red. Not a green dragon, not a silver dragon, not a scaly reptilian dragon, but a red dragon specifically is in the Bible, okay? So you can't ignore the fact that the red dragon goes back to biblical times because it's in the Bible. Okay, that's as old as it gets. You could try to say there's Sumerian texts of a red dragon, but still the Bible is the oldest. Even if you want to argue that the oldest one you physically have might be a Sumerian tablet or something like that. But the red dragon, guys, is biblical, okay? And they don't know where it comes from. Well, it has to make you wonder, where does it come from? Okay, the oldest recorded use of the dragon to symbolize Wales is from the historian Britain. The red dragon was even said to have been used as the British standard at the Battle of Crecy in 1346, when the Welsh archers dressed in their beloved green and white. So yes, no question there's a connection to Wales. Okay, we get that, but we still don't quite know where the dragon got onto the Wales flag to begin with, this red dragon. Okay, let's keep going. Let's dig a little further, shall we? Shall we? All right, so check this out. So you may have seen this, but there are a lot of interesting things included on the British coat of arms. Everything from the white horse of Revelation with an eyes of a man to 4 beasts in the middle to potentially this lion having the body of a leopard, the feet of a bear, mouth of a lion. That's described in Revelation. There's a black prince, which not quite sure much about that. The dog on top. Okay, so interesting connections here. But then you got this red dragon down in the corner. It says the Order of the Garter. That's interesting. But here you've got this phrase underneath that says Ich dien, which is German for I serve. I serve. As in, I serve the red dragon, perhaps? Something to consider. Just happens to be right under the red dragon. Ich dien. I serve the red dragon. Something to consider. Let's keep going. Well, there's something from the Holy Roman Empire called the Order of the Dragon, or the Order of the Defeated Dragon, Order Draconum. Okay. So now we're going back to Roman times. All right. So now we're getting back. So when God's talking about the red dragon in the Bible, there's lots of ways you can look at that. Are we talking about the Roman Empire? We're talking about China, because we know they're into the red dragon. Are we talking about Britain? Because they're into the red dragon. What's going on here? Or is it a combination thereof? Is it ultimately we're talking about Satan, the serpent who's behind it all? But let's take a look at this a little bit, if we may. I don't know if this is gonna get any bigger for you there. It says Order of the Defeated Dragon, Order Draconum. The Order of the Defeated Dragon is Latin for Societas Draconistarum, Society of the Dragonists. Okay, so there was actually a society of dragonists. So consider that. Keep that in mind. It was a monarchical chivalric order for selected nobility founded in 1418 by Sigmund, King of Hungary, and later the Holy Roman Emperor. It was fashioned after the military orders of the Crusades, requiring its initiates to defend the cross and fight the enemies of Christianity. Okay, that sounds good. In particular, the Ottoman Turks. At least it sounds good on the surface, right? The order flourished during the first half of the 15th century, primarily in Germany and Italy. After Sigmund's death in 1437, its importance declined in Western Europe, but after the fall of Constantinople, it continued to play a role in Hungary and Croatia. A lot of this stuff goes back to Hungary. Have you noticed that? You know, this guy who said something's going to happen on September 24th, his name is Hungarian. Remember we looked at that? And that his name is the same name as the grandson of Attila the Huns, of the Hungarians. So there's kind of an interesting connection here with Hungarians. Okay. It says Sigmund faced fierce struggles for power leading up to the foundation of the order in 1418. In 1387, the Bohemian royal son Sigmund of Luxembourg was elected king of Hungary and Croatia, title he owed chiefly to the marriage of Queen Mary of Hungary, etc., etc. The Pope Boniface proclaimed a crusade against the Ottomans and a campaign, etc., etc. Foundation and purpose of the order. On December 12th, following the Battle of Dobar, against the Christian heretics called Bogomils, in which Sigmund slaughtered 200 Bosnian noblemen. Oh, how nice. Now, didn't Jesus say to turn the other cheek and love your neighbor, even love your enemies? Yeah. I think they might have missed the message on that one. I don't know. Call me crazy. Maybe they weren't supposed to go around killing everybody that they disagree with. Founded the league known today as the Order of the Dragon. Its statutes written in Latin called a society. Got to be aware of those societies, those secret societies, whose members carry the signum draconis. They carry the symbol of the dragon. See? So you have to wear the dragon on you. Okay? That has to be part of your emblem. The signum draconis, but assign no name to it. Contemporary records, however, refer to the order by a variety of similar, if unofficial names, such as Gesellschaft mit dem Drachen, Davisa. Oh, come on, you're not gonna. It gives me this long German, but it doesn't translate it. Davisa su Societas Draconica, Societas Draconica su Draconistarum, and Fraternatas Draconum. Oh my goodness! It was to some extent modeled. It's just so long. It was to some extent modeled after the earlier Hungarian monarchical order, the Order of St. George. Okay, St. George. Yeah, that's the guy you learn about, right? St. George, right? Founded by King Carol Robert of Anjou in 1318, the order adopted by St. George as its patron saint, whose legendary defeat of a dragon was used as a symbol for the military and religious ethos of the order. The statute of the order, etc., etc. Described in general terms, the enemy was any anti-Christian political power or group. See, they kind of turn it on its head. It starts out as an anti-Christian thing, then it becomes an anti-Christian thing, including schismatic or actively heretical fellow countrymen or Europeans, Christian, Bosnian, etc., etc. The creation of the order was an instance within a larger fashion of founding chivalric orders during the 14th, 15th centuries. Symbol of the order. So here you have a dragon who's choking himself with his own tail. Okay? That's intriguing. Here it is again, same concept there, choking himself with his own tail. Again, there with the cross now over him. Like the cross is conquering him. Okay, interesting. Now, here's what gets even more interesting. Okay, you want to say this is an anti or a Christian group? You want to say this is a Christian symbol? This is how the mighty have fallen. This is how far we fall from grace, guys. Oh man, this is what's crazy. This is when you got a guy standing up like he's the new Hitler, like Mr. B did recently with the red background, decrying the MAGA and all the conservatives and Christians and so forth. At the same time, claiming he's fighting for freedom and democracy in the Christian way, and claims to be a Catholic himself and so forth. Same concept here. Okay, so these guys claim, because remember, Constantine made it the national religion, right? So, there's good and bad in that. In one sense, it gets everybody to maybe learn more about God and Jesus and say and become a Christian. In another sense, it gets everybody to say they're a Christian when they're really not Christian, okay? And we kind of have that now. That's kind of what we have in Christianity today, is a lot of false Christianity, right? A lot of CINO, Christian in name only. Chinos, as I call them. Christian in name only. Kind of like the rhinos, you got the chinos. And so that's sort of what we have a lot of today, and that's what you had a lot of then, because everybody felt like they had to be Christian to be part of the group, so they would just say they're Christian and clearly not be Christian. So by doing that, they ended up kind of besmirching Christianity and smearing the name of Christianity, because you see their fruit and you go, that's not Christian, and yet they're claiming Christianity behind it. So, why do I say this? Well, interestingly enough, let's take a look at the founding members of the Order of the Dragon. Guys, this is all about to come together in a way it's going to blow your mind. Blow your mind, yeah, baby, blow your mind. I got to take a little break for a little water before I unleash this to you. Man, oh man, maybe that's what I've been. Maybe I've just been dehydrated because I talk for hours and I never drink any water. Let me bite a little bit of an apple here. If that's okay. All right. Check this out. Get ready to rumble. Okay. Man, have you ever had a pink lady apple? Pink lady. That's the name of the apple. That's the type of apple. You know how many types of apples there are out there? There's tons. But man, if you've not picked up a pink lady apple, man, be sure to get one of those. They're like the perfect combo of sweet and tangy. Okay. That was my apple commercial for you. Founding members of the Order of the Dragon, which by the way is a great way to lose weight if you just eat an apple and just kind of slowly eat it, as you throughout the morning and then don't eat anything else. Just slowly eat an apple. All right. Founding members of the Order of the Dragon, okay? The original members of the Order of the Dragon in the founding charters of 1418 were, okay, I'm not going to, Stephanus, Hermanus, da-da-da-da-da-das, Johannes, Jacobus, Joanna, da-da-da-da. But look at this guy. Look at this guy. Does this guy look familiar to you? Anybody know who this guy is? You are never going to believe. Members of the Order of the Dragon. Vlad II, Dracul, then Prince of Wallachia, father of Vlad Dracul III. Vlad Dracul III, then Prince of Wallachia, son of Vlad II, Dracul. Dracul? Well, that's not cool. Do you know what Dracul? You know who this guy is? Do you know who this guy is? Anybody? That's right, Angela. Angela knows. Vlad the Impaler. Vlad the Impaler. That's right, Liz. Dracula. I want to suck your blood. I want to suck your blood. Yes, I am Dracula. Yes. Dracula, guys. Dracula was a member of the Order of the Dragon. A man who supposedly impaled 80,000 people. 80,000. 80,000. Nosferatu, that's right. Let that sink in, guys. Dracula. Okay, Dracula was a member of the Order of the Dragon. Supposedly, this order that is defending Christianity was a man who's known to be the vampire of Transylvania. Transylvania, who impaled 80,000 people on sticks and would light them on fire to light up his courtyards. That's the guy who's a member of this dragon. You're like, yeah, okay, Mikhail, yeah, that is kind of weird and a little strange and maybe unique. Yeah, Dracula, okay, but what's the connection to the British Empire? Oh, just wait and see. Just wait and see. Just wait and see. Just wait and see. Okay, you don't have to wait anymore. All right, check it out. You're not going to believe this. This is about to blow you sky high. Why did Prince Charles, the man they call Prince of Darkness perhaps, want a dragon on his cake? Because he's a member of the Order of the Dragon, like this Mr. Dracula, Vlad the Impaler? This is why. Right here. Chucky, our friend Chucky, is a descendant, not just a descendant, but a proud descendant. That's right. He is a proud, open, out of the closet descendant of Dracula. That's right. He's a proud descendant of Dracula. And he even owns properties in Transylvania. Guys, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, when they say you can't make this stuff, you really can't make this stuff up. I mean, this sounds like it's right out of some horror novel. But it's 100% true, and he himself promotes it. He himself loves it. So, just like Dracula was a member of the Order of the Dragon, so now Chucky is a proud member of the Order of Dracula. See, Draco, the dragon, Dracula. Are you seeing? Are you getting this? Are you understanding what's going on here? He is a descendant of Dracula and owns properties in Transylvania. The former Prince of Darkness, I wouldn't say former, he still is the heir to the Vlad the Impaler's bloodline. He's heir to Vlad the Impaler's bloodline. He's got the vampire's blood in him. The royal family has links to several countries across Europe, including Romania, and it turns out that King Charles is a descendant of the real-life Dracula, formerly known, let me make this a little bigger here for you if you can read it, formerly known as Prince Charles. He's now the Prince of Darkness. Prince of Wales, he actually owns several properties in Transylvania, is the heir to Vlad the Impaler's bloodline. The ruthless prince, also known as Vlad Tepes and Vlad III Dracula, is known for his cruelty towards his enemies and impaling them on stakes. He lived in the 15th century and is said to have inspired Bram Stoker for his famous Count Dracula. In 1462, following a battle, Vlad left a field filled with thousands of impaled victims. I saw a number of 80,000 somewhere. More than 530 years later, in 1998, King Charles found out about the links to the Romanian ruler. Oh, I'm sure he probably knew about that from birth. Believe me, this stuff doesn't happen by accident. You think these bloodlines happen by accident, guys? This is all going according to plan. He's in fact his great-grandson 16 times removed. He's the great-grandson of Dracula, Vlad the Impaler, through the consort of George V, Queen Mary. Oh, Queen Mary, that's a whole nother one. A genealogical Bloody Mary. A genealogical tree in the British Chronicles written by David Hughes supports this claim. The website, It's Also No Secret that Prince Charles is very fond of Romania, especially of the Transylvania region. It was after his first visit to Transylvania in 1998 that he found out about his connection to Vlad the Impaler. Yes, so they say. I highly doubt that. I guarantee this kid. Guys, this is not a surprise. This is not a secret. Can you see what I'm reading here? I think you can. No. I don't think it was just, oh, really? Oh, what a surprise. He's done plenty of charity work in Transylvania, especially in the fields of sustainable development, conservation, and farming systems because of his strong, oh, right. And then they try to make it off like it's a charitable thing. Oh, isn't that nice? Count Dracula's descendants. He's such a nice man. King Charles now owns several properties in Romania. These villages have now become popular with tourists. It's a tiny hamlet. The family had originally founded a glass factory, so then they tried to change the subject. Oh, well, let's forget about the fact that it's Dracula, and let's just say he's trying to do nice things for people. The Dracula line established after the great worldwide mud floods of 1776. See? It's been established for a long time, guys. This is not like he just found this out. And look at his face. He even looks like Dracula. He's got Dracula face. Dracula, I want to suck your blood. I cannot wait. And sadly to say, he probably has consumed some blood in his time, I would imagine. Based on everything else we know. Guys, we're living in the end times. From Vlad the Impaler to Prince Charles, Dracula's heir promotes Romania to UK terror. It's like, for a long time they tried to hide it. Now they're like, yeah, isn't it great? It's great. Isn't it great? Come see Dracula's place. It would be cool to see it if it wasn't real. The fact that it is real is pretty freaky. Royal links to Dracula. Prince Charles stuck to Dracula. 16 times removed. He's a great-grandson. Yada, yada. So pretty much the same kind of thing. Look, now they have tourism. Come see where we suck the blood. Come see where we impaled 80,000 people. Come. You'll love it. It's Dracula. Prince Charles' love for Romania. Oh, man. Wow. And there's the dragon. Oh, isn't that interesting? Draco. There's Draco for Dracula. Oh, isn't that interesting? They put the dragon there. What are the odds? Very interesting. Okay. All right. So, something to consider as we go into tomorrow. Now, it's not like father, like son, right? So it's not just the dad. It's also the son. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So yes, in case you haven't seen this, the Goat of Mendes, it's called. Also known as Baphomet. Right? Good old Baphomet. Let's see. I had it open here. I think I made this too big, but if I make that bigger, then this will get changed. Let me just show you this first. So anyway, the son of apparently, not apparently, I mean, we can see it in the picture, he has a patch with the goat of the devil on it. Now, they'll say, oh, it's the goat of Mendes. But when we say the goat of Mendes, that really goes back to Baal and Baphomet and the devil. So he has the goat on his patch there, along with 2 lightning bolts. Now, this is an Air Force patch. Obviously, a goat has nothing to do with an Air Force. They'll explain it away in any number of ways. But it is curious, to say the least, that he would have the goat, which we know represents the devil, along with 2 lightning bolts, Satan falling like lightning from heaven, on his patch. Something to consider there. Let's back this off a pinch. I just want to show you this symbol here of the goat again. But here's the goat of Mendes. They say it's the goat of Mendes right here, goat of Mendes. Levi called his image the goat of Mendes, possibly following Herodotus' account that the god of Mendes, the Greek name of Jedet in Egypt, was depicted with a goat's face and legs. Herodotus relates how all male goats were held in great reverence by the Mendesians, how in his time a woman publicly, don't want to say that, but she had relations with the goat. At several places in the Delta, Hermopolis, Lycopolis, and Mendes, the god Pan and a goat were worshipped. Strabo Pinder says that in these places, goats would have relationships with the women of a intimate nature. Instances, a case which was said to have taken place in the open day. The Mendesians, according to this writer, paid reverence to all goats and more to the males than to the females, particularly to one he-goat, on the death of which public mourning is observed throughout the whole Mendesian district. They call both Pan and the goat Mendes. So when you see the guy with the pan flute, right, or even in Chronicles of Narnia, you know, that guy, he's one of these guys. And both were worshipped as gods of generation and fecundity. Diodorus compares the call to the goat of Mendes with that of Priapus, the groups of the gods of Pans and the Satyrs, or the Satyrs. Many pleasures revered before the advent of Christianity were condemned by the new religion. It required little changeover to transform the horns and cloven hooves of Pan into a most convincing devil. Pan's attributes could nearly be changed into charged with punishment sins, and so the metamorphosis was complete. So, this is, these guys, I mean, I hate to say it, but these, this is no mistake. This is not an accident. This is not a coincidence. This is what it's all about. And unfortunately, behind the scenes, they're doing all these crazy things and worse, and drinking the blood of children and things like that, and abusing children and abusing people. And I don't like to talk about those things, but unfortunately, we have to be aware of these things, that these are the kinds of things that are going on.